Sorry. Welcome to Monday Nights with Mohit Kamath. I hope this Monday is treating fantastic for you. So let me know on comments because today I have been streaming with YouTube, with Facebook, and as well as Instagram. So I have moved my platform from Instagram to YouTube and Facebook. So this streaming doesn't allow me to get comments from Instagram. So if you want to really comment, then please come to the YouTube stream, YouTube live, or the Facebook live, right? Okay, here we go. So the topic today is strategies. How to build strategies, how to use strategies in a badminton game. That's what we are talking about. So before we move on to the topic, I really want to express myself that according to me, my opinion, that 65% when you play a game is psychological, and strategy comes under the bracket of psychology. So, having the right strategies across the game, understanding how well you can use your tactics as well as your opponent's tactics to your benefit, that is the key. So today we are going to learn how to strategize using your insights and tactics of your game and your opponent's game, and then learning the best. Okay, so just let me know in the comments. Of course, you cannot comment on the, you can comment on the Instagram live, but I don't have the access to it. Please go forward and maybe join on the YouTube platform to get the comments. Okay, let me see. Mm, okay, here we go. Insight and strategies and tactics. Um, well, see, in a badminton game, right from the start, or even it could be before you start the game, you need to know a lot of things which you will have to inculcate before you start the game. I have noted down three important things which I'm going to show it down to you in the form of a slide. Let me see how we can do. So I need to see some comments on the platform. So if you are live on Facebook, so please let me know um, how we can go. How was Monday? How was Monday treating you? Okay. Yes, Amit. Thank you. Mohan Srinivas. Thank you for watching. It really helps me and energizes me and motivates me to do this stuff often. So some of the people here who are trying to maybe comment from Instagram. I'm very sorry because I wanted to stream for all the platforms which I can move. So this might be a slight discomfort for all of you, but let me also try. My wife is helping me to get some of the comments from Instagram. Sometimes this technology, right? So we will not be able to do anything on that. Okay, let me see some more comments here. Anusha Shamba, yes, this is exciting, absolutely exciting. Um, Kamaldeep Singh, hello. Yes, I know you guys are waiting. Hey Venu, are you there? Yes, I'm there. Can you not see me? Yes. Yes, if I'm audible clear, and if you can see me properly, please give me a thumbs up. Yep. Okay. Um, okay, now I have got the Instagram live too. Instagram live. Okay. Thank you, Amit. Hi, Tilak. Tilak is on YouTube. Thank you. Hey, Prem Singh. Hello. I'm not sir. You are sir. आप सर हो, हम नहीं. Manjusha Chaudhary. Thank you. Thank you, Vijay Raj. And all of you who are on YouTube, please subscribe so that I can create some amazing, amazing content for them. Uh, yeah, I'm also trying to get some comments from Insta, but let me see. I'm trying to use a phone. This is an amazing platform. Trying to stream. Hi, Manjunath. How are you doing? Good. Hey, Sinchana. Hi, Ram Kamath. So many people have joined Instagram. I know the last 6 episodes were from Instagram, but there were some of the subscribers of the channel. I mean, the Instagram. So they messaged me saying, "How can you please do it on Facebook?" And some of my closest people said that, "How about YouTube?" So I figured out a way to stream on all three platforms. But Instagram, there's a problem with Instagram because they have not given the permission to for a multiple streaming platform. So that's why on Instagram I will not be able to watch any comments. But if you do from Facebook or YouTube, I can do that. Monday, I how was the Monday for you? I think one of you who write a quote about Monday or how was your Monday. I will put it on the live stream here. We will quickly go. I will just go within 2 minutes. So I just want all of you to have an interact. And this is not a session only education by me. I want you all to participate and give your insights and strategies. It could be very simple and small strategies, very simple and small strategies. That is also fine, so that we all learn together. I love to learn. There are some times where I learn from my students. They come with an insight saying, how about we do like this, sir? That's an input, because it never has to be a coach led, coach driven system. It has to be athlete driven too. It has to the whole ecosystem has to develop, right? We all learn from each other. Hi, Manisha. How are you doing? Hi, Sinchana. Yes. Monday was hectic. Hectic work. Okay, yeah. Typically, Monday will be hectic, but I love Mondays because I like to go back to my routines. I like to go back to badminton court. I that's what I love to do, right? So I think for Instagram, those who have joined Instagram, I feel there is not proper. The layout is not complete. So I request you, if you can come to YouTube or Facebook, that would be good. Uh, is the Facebook layout good? Okay, fantastic. So if you can see the entire screen, give me a thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Vijay Raj. Here we go. Let's dive in. So, how to strategize in badminton games? Strategies are very, very important. Absolutely important. So, if we go, there are three different stages in badminton, which I feel you can also, if there are coaches here, you can also put some comments on this. So, I feel there are three stages. The first one is the start, the second one is the core part of it, and the third one is the end game. Okay, let me just put myself out so that you will be able to see it completely. Yeah, the end game. It is all about, if you see at the start, it is all about a good start. If you start well, most likely you will catch a good flow throughout the game. Having a flow is very, very important. Having a flow is absolutely necessary. A flow is kind of a rhythm, right? I'm very sure that you might have had a day. It is not necessarily for badminton, but you might have a day where everything works, right? A smooth drive, a smooth a cooking, or maybe a smooth what do you say, start of your rally in badminton, or if you're playing some other sport, everything becomes smooth, right? So that's called the flow. When you are in the right mindset, when you're in the right, your body set, everything works out. So that start is absolutely important. And if we go back now to the core part, once you find out that rhythm, score up as much as you can using different tactics to be either ahead of the curve or simply out tackle your opponent. See, when I talk about core, right, um, it's the center part. If you have if you have eaten a chocolava cake, there is the cream inside, right? It's so delicious. That's the core part. I hope you get that. So if you go for the third one, end game, think different or be ahead. This there is a long description which I could have given, but I kept it very small because in the end matters a lot. Out of these three, yes, of course, the start and core is equal, but for me, the end is more zoomed, or I can put it across in this way. The end is one thing where you actually finish the game, and let's say that you started well, you played the core part well, and in the end, if you do some masti or if you get out focused, then the whole start and core is gone. It's messed up. Okay, so this is something I this is about the pre-rituals of the game. So there are some times where if you have seen some people wearing their Walkmans and warming themselves, having listening to the right songs, sometimes that they're trying to get that mental and psychological flow into their warm-ups, right? So that's something called pre-start rituals. Some people, if you can see here, uh, music. Some people like to stretch. Some people, you can do meditation, and sometimes you can do talking to your favorite person, coach or mentor, right? So when you go about music, so I was not a kind of a music person. I never wanted to listen to music. I felt, that would distract me. But there are a lot of people I've seen, like Rafael Nadal. So he is a person who wears his music and listens to his favorite songs, and then he would like to, pump himself up and then get into the warm up. I'm sure if you have seen, fantastic, and but if you have not seen it, I think you should definitely go and check out. And sometimes stretchings. So this usually you can do it if you have had a good match, maybe in the first round or second round, and you have to play the next round. So stretching before your warm up routine sometimes kind of loosens you up. So I used to do that a lot. So then meditation. Some people would like to meditate. Uh, Prakash Padukone sir, he was my coach. So at some point, I asked him how to focus before the match. There are a lot of times I don't get a good start. So how to focus, sir? I asked him, sir, were you doing any meditation or yoga to get that focus? He said, I have never done meditation in my life. Surprising, right? And still he has won All England Championship. So some people don't meditate, but there are some people who really meditate, like P. Gopichan. So he is a kind of a yogi. We have seen him, and he likes to meditate. There are a lot of people like that. Pankaj Advani, the billiards player, that he often says in his interview that he would like to meditate before the match. So like that, there are so many people who meditate. You can just post a comment if you feel that whoever you have seen, any good players, world class players who have spoken about meditation. I would like to see that comments. Let me see. At least I can learn who used to do meditation. I think Roger Federer is not the guy who does. Yes, Novak Djokovic. So he mentioned that Surya Namaskar and certain yoga routine helped him to stabilize mentally and physically for him. So he used to do that. Uh, talk talking to your favorite person, coach and mentor. Yeah, this is something I often did. So I never used to talk to my coach because of course Vimal sir and Prakash sir was not that available. We were traveling by our own, and that usually happened to us. But I was talking to my sister. Most of the time, I was talking to my sister, and sometimes to one of my close friend that how I was feeling through, and if he felt that I was under pressure before the match, so he used to pump me up or sometimes calm me down. So that is how I used to console myself if I was in the mm, right one. So I think there's some problem. So let me just check once. Um, okay, okay. There's some problem on my. I hope I'm clear now. Yep. Let me see some comments here. If I'm clearly audible and if you can see me, if you can see the presentation properly. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So I was talking to my parents, right? Um, Sorry, I was talking to my sister and my friend, as I told you. So that used to help me to, um, channelize my thoughts sometimes. Yes, thank you, Prajwal, Amit, and Chandan. So that used to channelize my thoughts in such a way that it would help me to start better or get involved in the session better. Yeah. So sometimes so this is something important. The fifth point which I would like to stress upon is sometimes you'll have to exercise on building focus and concentration. So we all are individuals. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for somebody else. Somebody might have a good focus or concentration for the first 6 seconds or 10 or 15 seconds. Some might not have that. So you will have to figure out what works the best for you. Or the second part is you will have to build the focus and concentration if it is not working for you. That's completely individual. Sometimes there was one player in tennis which I was reading about her that whenever she had a match, she used to solve Sudoku. Are you aware of what Sudoku is? Can I see the comments? Sudoku, right? So it's a number or the name game where the start letter and the end letter is organized in a box and upside down way where you will have to solve the letters. So the same letter comes and goes back. Yes, yes, Chandan, I know. So that she used to solve, and she used to get that concentration uh, before the match. That's something interesting, right? So if you could do that, that's fantastic. Yes, Chandan. So I did not understand 9*9. So that is one thing which you could do. The second one, the fifth, sorry, sixth one is watching your favorite players match. I used to do that. Sorry. So whenever I had a tough match, which I felt that there is an opponent who is equally challenging, so I used to watch Taufik Hidayat's match. A lot of people here might not know who he is, but he is an ex-Olympic champion and world champion. 2004 is he was one Olympic, and 2005 he was world champion. He's still considered one of the most artistic and talented player. So when I used to see his match, the way he played, the art form, I would say you should see him playing. He used to play badminton like an artist. The way he moved, the footwork, um, the strokes, the tactical part, it was beautiful. It is indeed beautiful to watch. You can Google some of his matches. So I used to watch his matches before some of the tough matches which I was playing, and that could help me boost and help me get some ideas out of that match and try and apply during different situations. That is something you can do as a pre-start ritual. And the seventh one is strengthening, strengthening and stretching. So but stretching is the second time which I have reiterated here, but I feel strengthening is something um, where it is related to your hormonal changes, you know uh, where you pump up, right? So there is something called testosterone. It boosts your testosterone, and it helps you to, really pump up and get into the game as strong, as powerful as possible. So that is something, but you will have to do accordingly, because you will have to take that advice of your trainer or your coach, that how well you have trained in the past and how it might help or affect whatever decision you're taking. Please go to your coach, discuss with him. Don't do it alone, or maybe a trainer would guide you how to do it. So that is something uh, uh, is important as well, sometimes, to figure out that strengthening will boost you. And another part of strengthening is it will fire your muscles, right? So like how before you start your motorcycle or maybe your car, there is a spark plug which gives a spark, and then your engine starts, right? So same way, there is a science where you need to fire your muscles before an high performance or high moving activity. Badminton is a high moving activity, right? So you need to understand that. And the last one, which I feel, that anything, any ritual, sometimes puja also, sometimes eating small sweet or coffee or whatever, if you feel that that has helped you before, anything which makes you get into the zone of that performance to perform better, you can do that. There are a lot of people, a lot of athletes, and a lot of legendary players who have been doing their rituals, trying out new things, different things, which would help them, focus and get into the zone of that performance better. So they have to figure out, so you will have to figure out how you do it. And this is something special, I would say. You might have to do a pre-start ritual and analytical exercise. So we spoke about physical, we spoke about psychological pre-start rituals, which you could, develop a sense of focus and importance when you get in. But there is something called um, analytical exercises, like for example, on-court conditions. How well do you know, where you're playing a tournament or playing a match, that how the flooring is, how much the wind is circulated in the hall, how the drift is, how the lights are? So these are the analytical things you will have to figure out before you start your warm up or whatever it is. That's very, very necessary. Lot of people tend not to do that, but if you're very serious about performing at the best, but analytical exercises are very, very important. The second one is body conditions. Let's say you had a long match, you had a fantastic three-setter match, and you have not recovered well, right? So that also hampers your movement. If you have not recovered well, your focus will, you will not get the absolute focus the way you are getting when you are fresh. So you need to know your body conditions, and whatever conditions your body is, you need to figure out in such a way that you could deal with it at least 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours before that. That is absolutely important. And the third one is SWOT on opponents. SWOT means strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So understand your opponent's strength, weak points, and an opportunity for you to handle or tackle him at the right situation, at the right time, at the right moment. For example, I'll give you an example. Lin Dan and Lee Chong-wei, I feel today, even today, Lee Chong-wei is little better, slightly better than Lin Dan in terms of techniques in badminton, in terms of tactic in badminton, in terms of fitness in badminton. But why Lin Dan has won so many tournaments, the highest level of tournaments like Olympics, World Championships, and All England probably, more than Lee Chong Wei is he has that psychological advantage. He is an opportunist, and anytime he has won bigger tournaments against Lee Chong Wei, he has he knew that if he takes Lee Chong Wei to the closer of the match, the end game, the third stage which I spoke about, he is very confident on that. That's the opportunity he banked in. That's where the slight difference between the Lee Chong Wei and Lin Dan, right? That's a spot, it's an opportunity, and sometimes it's threat in the sense, like for example, Lindan, he has a very good forehand drop shot. He goes really easy to the net, and he has so many variations from the forehand. Lee Chong Wei, he has that amazing quality of defense. The shuttle will come back even if the shuttle goes to the corners all the time. You know that, right? So that's the SWOT you need to maybe relay sometimes on the opponent and understand the opponent. Then you will get a right perspective to how to design your game on that opponent. You understand, right? So that's the pre-start rituals. So please let me know in the comment what are some of the pre-rituals you would do which has helped you, so that we all the viewers here can understand. Let me see something on the comment. Puja. I think a lot of people do puja, right? So they'll have their ajis, tatas, ammas, appas in the home, right? They go and you have a match. They start doing pujas 1 or 2 days before. They'll be like, "Yo, my son, ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗ್ಲಿ match ಗೆಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ," right? So, so those things that I think they are very common things in, at least in South India, right? So Prajwal, yes, Prajwal says music. Yeah. Which kind of music you would like to hear, Prajwal? Music is good. I never liked music. I don't know why. I like music only during I sleep, not during the pumping thing before the match. What kind of music you like to listen, Prajwal? Oh, motivational. Nice. Motivational in the sense bhajans. You would like to listen bhajans. Uh, so that I think that motivates a lot, right? Yeah. Amit Gowda, yes. Meditation, fantastic. Meditation is a good thing. Let me know on the comments. Like, let us learn together. Like, what helps you a lot. Music is good. I've heard a lot of people. Even I see a lot of people wearing their Bluetooth earphones and involving yourself. Yes, it's really good. So you're off. Sometimes you're off the thinking of how to strategize. If you overdo, yes, if you overdo something, that's not good. So in the meanwhile, please keep commenting so that we can learn with each other. The three important factors, the three important stages: the start, core, and the end game. Right. So before we move on to start, I showed you a pre-ritual and an analytical exercise which you have to run. So that could really help you to understand certain things and give you a slight advantage, Sometimes even 1% works really well if it is on your side, right? So the first stage, I would say, a great start. The first stage, I would say that, learn to divide the whole game, which is if you're playing a 21 points three setter, or if you're playing a 15.3 setter. Nowadays, if you play qualifying, it's 15 point. And if you have a 15 points scoring system, then learn to divide in multiple checkpoints. Like you can see on the screen here, 21 points divided by 3. So that's 7 points, uh, 7 points per game. And then you have 7 points per checkpoint. And then you can also divide 21 by 4, which means like 5 points per checkpoint. Or if you're playing 15, then it is 15 bar 3 and 15 bar 2, right? So first learn to divide this game. And you can divide this in such a way that which is easy for you. If 1 point is easy for you, you can divide 1 by 1 by 1. That's the most easiest one. But if you can divide 2 by 21 or 3 by 21, so you will have to learn to figure out a way to take these points. Lot of experts suggest one point at a time, because it's important and necessary to stay at the present, stay at the moment, so that you understand, you're aware of the situations, what your opponent is trying to do. Yes, that's fantastic. But sometimes there are situations, I'm sure if you're a player, you would have felt it. I'm sure if you're a parent or a coach, you must have seen. If the point, if 1 point goes, there is a series of points you lose. 2, 3, 4 points. At a stretch, you lose. That means there is something popping up in your mind and you're trying to, you're out of the flow. These things happen, right? Let me know in the comments if you feel the same. So then at that particular point, right, if you have divided in 3 or 4 points as a checkpoint, so your concentration, your focus, your strength of concentration or focus is built to handle 3 4 points at a time. Okay, if you, I mean, this is not 100% advice, but I would say this is something you will have to try out. Okay, and this might not work all the time, and this might not work on same players, but it is all jumble and gamble, so you can do however you want. So there are other things which I have which I feel that you have to avoid risky shots in the beginning. This has happened to me in one season. So after the post season, we had this 3 4 months, right? So some of them have the exams season, like Jan, Feb, March, where most of the tournaments are not conducted in my days. So we had this non tournament season where we used to try out new things. And when these new things come up, so you're freshly learning all these new things, and you go in a tournament and you try out. And at the beginning, if it comes, well and great. But if it doesn't come, if you don't have the flow in your psychological and physical ability, you start giving more points. Like you want to play a sharper stroke, which you have practiced new strokes, which you have learned new strokes, and then you go and you start off. There might be 1 or 2 mistakes which will happen, and then series of mistakes will happen. It's a very risky thing to do at the beginning. So I would say that avoid risky shots in the beginning. First of all, build a rhythm. Build a rhythm, build consistency and awareness in the present. Do not hurry up. There is nothing to hurry up. You don't have a bus to catch or a flight to catch or a train to catch, right? So don't hurry up. Take your own time. You have, according to the regulations, between each points, you have certain number of seconds of rest. You do that. Always maintain a good body language. Giving a good body language gives you an advantage of putting a message across saying, hey, I'm ready for the game. I'm there. No matter how the shuttle comes or how the scenario or the situation is, I'm ready. So that's a good body language is absolutely necessary. The last point I would say, it is very, very important to have an extreme focus on the serve, the return of serve, and a few followed by shots. What I mean to say is when you serve, you get a return of serve, and then you return the second shot, and then you have a couple of rallies around 4 to 5 shots of exchanges each. If this you are able to master, No matter the opponent, no matter your level of competition in the match, if you can master this, I would say that's the first step of a successful badminton journey. The first 5 points, the first 5 shots of the rallies are very, very important. Not to be on the most defensive side or not to be on the attacking side, but if you can keep the shuttle in, nothing like it. So this is a great start according to me. Let me know in the comments what else do you think. There are some of the coaches here who can share. At the same time, I would like to also show you one rally between Lee Chongwei and Kento Momoto of Malaysian Open, where both of them have started in two different ways. Lee Chongwei has started the game in a different way, and Kento Momoto has started the different game. Now, when you observe the match, I want you to watch this particular rally, maybe one or two rallies, in two different lenses. When I say lenses, which means you'll have to observe Lee Chongwei, how he starts the game, uh, how he starts the game, and how Kento Momoto starts the game. Okay, so let's watch. As you can see, as you just saw, um, as you just saw how Lee Chongwei, as you just saw how Lee Chongwei started aggressive, but he could only score 1 point after 2-1, and then Kento Momoto took his time to do that. uh, yep. Anusha, yes. Please share some tips for corporate doubles players as well. Yes. This tip goes to corporate doubles as well. So when you play when you play badminton game, you might not move so hard on the court or so swift and fast on the court, but the landing, the movement, the takeoff is same. You carry your own body weight through different dimensions of the court, through different sides and different angles on the court. The weight impact on your foot is kind of same. Professional players might move little faster, stronger, but even for the corporate doubles players, it is the same. For the doubles aspect, I'm coming up with the end game factor that I would like to share it in the end. You will have to stay for that. So, but the tips here are the same. If you are trying to play for fun, I think that comes in a different category. But the start with the warm up, psychology, all these things stays the same, right? If you're playing an opponent who you are in a match, even for the corporate matches, then it also happens to the same, right? I hope I have answered you. Yes, Tilak, yes, sir. At the starting 5 points, maybe making a lot of rally near 15 to 20 shots. Yes, that could be one of the way where you can build rhythm and you can build a flow. But if you see now, which you saw this match in Lee Chong Wei, he wanted to have that aggressive attack. Maybe he might not have taken the point, but maybe it could be a different message. Hey, I'm here to win. Let me start aggressively. So it depends. As I told you, it really depends, like how you want to play the game. Depends on the opponent, depends on the day. As I told you, pre-start ritual, what would have happened. All these things matter. But that's a good strategy. Strategy, yeah. Venusai. So yes, 5 to 7 points are more focused. Yes. If you really want to have a great start, then 5 to 7 points. If you can divide the whole game like 21 points or 15 points, then first 5 points, if you could really get your rhythm and build that momentum and get into it, I think that is a good start. Yeah. Santosh Kumar. It's a very long one. When playing doubles in international before serve, they will show some signs like gesture. That's a very good point. show some signs like gesture with fingers to their partners. Can you explain about that? Absolutely. Um, I would say this has just started recently, about 10 years ago. I feel that because before that I have not seen. It could be even 15 or 20 years ago. But I feel that it is just a code which you try and explain to your partner. Now I cannot turn back now, but I'll show you. You have to imagine that I'm turning back. So when you're serving, you will either say one or two or three, maybe the sides of the court where you're serving on the T line or in the center or in the side of the double line when you're serving. That could be one, two, and three. And how fast you're serving, maybe a little softer in the one, you could say this and soft. If it is hard, then you can say this is a hard, or you can build up your code. That's a way of communicating to your partner what exact strategy and tactic you're using for service. Serve is the first step. And if your partner knows whether you're serving on the T line, which is number one, center number two, or sideline number three, and how fast you're serving, that could enable him to figure out what could be the opponent's return of serve. Now, I'll give you an example. I will tell my partner I'll serve on the T line, but little bit flatter, okay, little bit faster. And I'll tell him I'm serving on the one, but faster, right? Then I'll serve. If you serve faster, not many people will try to block it. And if they block, I would jump forward. I would have told my partner. They could really push it back on his body because it's a T line, right? So they might have just pushed it on the body. My partner would be ready with his hands straight away, and then he would be ready for the flat shot, and then he can drive back to a corner or maybe push him back in the same on the body and try to have an advantage on the first few shots. That's the strategy, and that's a very helpful strategy. You can definitely counter it if you're on the opposite side, but that's a good strategy and a fantastic question. Thanks, Santosh. So that's how you start, right? So that's starting is absolutely important, and even on the doubles, you can build that with your partner. That how do you want to serve and um, how to strategize, where do you serve, you're serving back, communicate with some codes which you can do. That's a fantastic one. Now let's move to core. If you have some questions, please go on, have the comment, and let's also learn together. So the core, right? The core part is something where I feel that you could try out little different things, get some variations. You can get it in the beginning itself, but get some variation because the start would have already done, and you might have figured out what your opponent um, is trying to play a game. He or she would have come up with a tactic, right? If that worked well, they would have continued. uh, if it doesn't work, it would have not worked, maybe he is trying to change it, then you can counter it. So core is something where you can, I feel, you can either have an opportunity to really take over your opponent's psychology, or maybe try out some new things just to confuse him or her. So maintain the rhythm if necessary and confident. This is very important. If you're confident and necessary, if it is necessary, then try out new shots, but only with intent, just to confuse him, or it's up to you. I mean, you can do that only if needed. And the most important factor is if you can maintain a good lead, whether it could be 2 points or 3 points or 4 points, then that's fantastic. Then you'll have an upper advantage. The opponent has is forced to come back to equal if it is possible. Then look for psychological advantages in between the rallies. And this is something which I really like. I would do that. Try and exploit the opponent's strength and weak points. Okay, so let's say I'm playing an ex player who has a very strong overhead smash to the cross. I would like to build a rally and let him play a overhead cross smash and be ready for his smashes. 4 5 smashes if you can defend, that means then maybe he will stop attacking the right stroke. maybe his favorite stroke, he might stop it, and that puts little pressure on his head that, oh, I'm trying to utilize my stronger strokes, but everything is coming back. That puts little pressure on the opponent. That is something you can do. um, I don't know how my phone is getting locked. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. So this is something you have to really check out. So exploiting your opponent. Then be aware of the situation, whatever going in your surroundings. So you will have to be aware of it. Then reserve your master stroke. Every time, if you can build one, two, or three, or couple of master strokes, which means you are super confident in any given condition, in any situation, in any particular point of the match, you will, if you can reserve that in the end game, that will have a super advantage, because sometimes a surprise from you to the opponent might put them in a tremendous pressure position. This happened with the previous world champion, the Indian Open tournament, where Lakshya Sen gave back the pressure where Lokeen was trying to put that pressure on Lakshya Sen. He gave it back very smoothly. And in the end, second game, you know what happened. Two smashes where Lokeen did not know where the shuttle is coming. So that's the core part. If you can maintain the master stroke in the end, that was nice. Yeah, let's go to the comment. Again, Satosh Kumar, yes. Yelling is not allowed in international, but Caroline Marin will shout every time. Yes. They've never said that yelling is not allowed. You can yell as hard as possible, as big. You can shout anyhow, but yelling at looking your opponent, staring at your opponent, and then yelling is not allowed. But you can yell. Once the rally is started, until it is finished, you cannot. You cannot yell. But once it is finished, you can yell however you want. You can celebrate however you want. The celebration, what you do in the end, jumping, throwing your racket, you don't have to do every point, right? That's kind of stupid. You can only do it when you finish the match. But sometimes yelling puts a lot of pressure. If you see 2016 Olympics match, second game, she started yelling so much. Each and every point, Sindhu was making an unforced error. Unforced means a free error where Sindhu was giving a free points, putting the shots in the net and out. She was yelling like anything. Sometimes some players feel that guilt, right? Oh, there are a lot of points which I'm giving. Let me control it. They come with a desperation psychologically. Even I as a player have faced it. If you fell into the pit of self guilt during that particular point where your opponent is giving you pressure like this vocally, then it's difficult. You need to be really strong mentally. Good questions, Santosh. Keep it coming. I like that. Ajuba, when we play match and we gone on depression, how can we come out? Okay. Uh, Depression is a big term. You don't have to go into depression. I would advise nobody to please go into depression. It's just a thought where you feel that 2, 3, 4 points you have lost, or maybe this point you have lost, an important point which is lost now, and your opponent is gone to lead. You still have that time to catch up with your opponent. You will have to build more rallies. Maybe you're not confident. Then you might feel that, this is tough. I might not be able to win. So that creates an anxiety. So you're trying to jump up in the future, jump ahead in the future, and trying to find a solution. If you can practice, as I told you, pre-match rituals, if you are able to practice certain things to come back in the present situation, that practice might help you to wash out all your anxieties and future predictions, and then stay in the moment, in the present, and try to build one point at a time. If you can practice that, then I think you might find some solutions on that. That's a good question. Yeah, it's a psychological one, but you need practice for that. Uh, it's already 57 minutes. I think the people who are watching Instagram on Instagram might lose me because there is a 1 hour time frame. That's the limitation because I hate it. On YouTube and Facebook, we have up to 3 hours. So I would like to go maybe more than 15 minutes ahead. I'm on the last part now, so we are on the end game. I really want you to stay. But if you are on Instagram, please migrate to YouTube, my YouTube channel, Mohit Kamath, or else the Facebook Live, so that you can stay connected. Yes, so any more questions, please? I would love to answer. Please come forward and you can ask me some questions. Yeah, so are we are in the end part now. So that's end game. So the end part, if you would have decided, let's say 21 divided by 4, so the last 5 points or maybe the last 7 points, you can strategize in such a way that you always have an advantage. There are some things which I feel that could help you here. That's fortune favors the brave. Those who are courageous, those who are bold, those who are strong, right? That body feeling and that psychological feeling will automatically try and deliver the best out of you. Whether it could be studies, whether it could be badminton, whether it could be any other stuff. That confidence matters a lot. And if you're brave, then you will definitely get the best out of yourself. Take advantage of anticipating your opponent tactics. This is something called reverse psychology. If your opponent is also trying to do some strategies against you, if you figure out, then let him do or let her do it, and then give it back to her or him in such a way that they will be surprised. It's like surprise, surprise. Yeah. Always try and be on the attacking side. Playing corners is allowed only if you are in sync with the situation at that particular time. As I told you, if you understand the drift well, if rallies are going well, you're not making many unforced errors, then playing corners might make sense. If that doesn't happen, if you're not in that flow, going to the corners might be very risky. But again, it depends on the on yourself, right? Display your master stroke. Again, as I told you, reserve your master strokes previously till the end, having one surprise, maybe on the 18, 19 or 20, that could really change. Like if I take an example of Lakshya Sen and Lokin View in Indian Open, the two smashes at 17 all or 16 all made a big difference. He played one cross smash and one straight smash from the overhead, and he changed his racket position in the last moment. In the very last moment, he changed that racket position to cross and straight. That was a surprise which he did not use in the core part of the game. Okay. So strong strategy right through service. Okay, so if you're at 17 all, 18 all, you're standing for the service. Strong strategy. Yes, the first shot, the next, where will I hit? How will the shuttle come? If you are able to deep focus in that, you have the higher advantage of scoring the point. And in the end, if the scoring really matters, celebrate. This is very important. You win, you celebrate. You lose, you learn the lesson. That is also a way to celebrate. Okay, so here we finish. So this is the learning table. As you can see, 3 components I've made: the start, core, and end game. You can go on through it. Let me also go with some questions. Santosh Kumar, my favorite player or role model in badminton. As I told in the earlier of the live video here, Taufik Hidayat was my role model, and he was my favorite player. I would say he's an artist on court. He was very smooth. I've never seen such kind of player anywhere, and he was very natural. Yeah. Kiran Akash. Okay. What to do when opponent purposely breaks your rhythm and follow flow of points? Sorry. What to do when opponent purposely breaks your rhythm and flow of points by taking a break? It's allowed. It's legal. It's legal, Kiran. So you can do that. You can find a way to relax for a moment, maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then again come back and regather your focus and concentration. That's again comes with practice. And that's a strategy. You can do that. That's completely a strategy. Prakash Padukone sir used to do that. Whenever you're with a good rally, an opponent wins a point, and he is desperately trying to come and start the rally, he used to stop them, tie the shoelaces, or pick up your socks up, or maybe just wipe off, go in the end, or change the shuttle. Or otherwise stand on the odd side if the score is something like 7 all, then he would go and stand on the 8 side just to take more time. That's all psychological tactics where you can use that. That's completely uh, allowed. And by the way, I think Kiran, because of your suggestion, I think I have picked up the topic today. Thanks a lot. Is that spin serve is allowed? Spin serve is allowed unless you touch the feather to your racket. The racket has to touch the cork, then it is allowed. So there you go. That's our slide. That's what we are done. We will go to the last part now. As I've mentioned about the start and the core and the end game, I would like to show you a beautiful doubles match, which was in 2014, I believe, World Championship, the last 26-25 point. As I mentioned, in the end, you have to be brave, attack more. If you can see here, more awareness, focus till the end. Right from the start, you have to focus. So I would like to take you all to the match, the last point of the match, where you will see these doubles players fighting for that last point. This is 26, 25. It's always attacking. You look at the stare down. So this is not allowed. Yeah, this is not allowed.
Oh, wow. Sit
This
down,
is not
Big
allowed.
Sam. You've already won your...
You cannot stare down. So it's a world championship and it's 26 all. That's out. And this is 27, 26. That's a stupid mistake. So that's was a finishing shot. That's a very stupid mistake. I suppose this is the last point. So they are bold, they are brave, and yeah. So it's very important to be on the attacking side. Unless your opponent makes a stupid mistake like how it happened. And there you go. Right? So be on the attacking side. So this is how this is how you end the game. It's important to celebrate as well. There you go. Okay. So that's it from my side today. I hope you have enjoyed so much. Let me know in the comments if you have really liked this session on YouTube, Insta, and Facebook. If you like it, please subscribe on my YouTube channel so that I keep creating this wonderful content. If you like going forward, so I would also be inviting a lot of guests in future so that we can find out and we can learn some new things from the space. right? Thank you, Tilak. Yes, thanks a lot. Let me know on the comments so that you can. Um, no, I'm out of words. Thank you. Though I think some of you here are not professional players, but yeah, some of the aspects could be applied in other areas as well. Like you have so many areas. I would say not only for sports. You could be business. It could be your interview, right? How do you deliver your speeches? The start is important. How do you start? The core part of it. How well you cruise yourself with the right tempo and with the right confidence in the center, and then end it with the right note. It could also do that. Your studies, right? How well you study, how well you start your exams, how do you do it? All these matter. So this whatever you gain from sports, it doesn't mean that it's only on sports. It also means that you have learned certain life skills which will really enhance your value of your living journey. So this is how I treat for sports. It's always a gain in sport. You never lose. You might lose some matches, but you will never lose the other side of it, which will help you in your whole life. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rekha Rani. uh, I think we have to, I have to admit this, it would be, I would be happy if you can help me get more views and share it with your friends or your family members to come in and get into the session, and then we can have wonderful time. Thank you all. If you have any questions, you let me know so that I can answer. And as we go on and on, I will see in how we can make these sessions very interactive and happening. Thank you so much. So have a wonderful week ahead. So you can also state if you want me to do more sessions like this, not only Mondays, but even on maybe Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays. If you feel that, if you want me to do on different topics, or maybe a open live session where anybody can join, one-to-one video call, or two, three people. Let's discuss. That's important, because learning with each other, it's called peer learning. So learning from each other is very, very important. So thank you, Reshma, Vinod. I hope you have a wonderful night, wonderful week ahead. See you.